Mourning the loss of your freedom. Let's dive in on this on part 2 of male postpartum depression here on the Metal Pulpit. Coming up next. Hey, thanks for joining me for another Metal Pulpit. I'm here in the lobby of the church I pastor, and because we have major rain coming down, and so I would get a little waterlogged outside. So I'm thinking about this. We're in part 2 of this talk on male postpartum depression. Again, one of my most read blogs that I've written, and beyond what I do here on the Sanctuary International Matrix, I have a blog that you can feel free to visit. Here's the web address, and I've been blogging since probably 2009, maybe even earlier than that, so would love for you to visit that. But mourning the loss of your freedom. Now, if you remember, I was going through all the, from last week, I was going through all of the emotions I was feeling, and from adopting 2 kids, and my social worker, she goes, Bob, what you're doing, what's happening to you, why you're so depressed and down is that you're mourning the loss of your freedom. Quick recap. We went, my wife and I went from a family of 2 to 4 in 4 months because we adopted. So I'm at this place where people are absolutely, either they love it or they really struggle with it. And sometimes it's both. And that's the joy of having new kids, a baby. And for my wife and I, we got our first one. He was at 9 months old, and his biological sister was born 4 months later. And we got her right from the hospital. You see, you always run into people that will say it's the best thing in your life, and I would agree. Having kids changes your life, and people that don't have kids that say I will not become weird when we have kids. The moms that have everything for walking, strolling, everything, and dads too, and they'll become weird. It's just a matter of time. I've become weird. My wife's become weird. My friends who have kids now, they're weird, and on it goes. But when all that goes away, there's this, and I can speak to men, there's this sense of I am tethered. I can't do what I used to do. My shirt, I love bicycling. Not like road bikes, but just my hybrid bike. I like going for 10 miles at a time. And I couldn't do that, quite honestly. If you have a kid that's under 1, you can't even put him in a bike trailer at that age. And so that presented itself with a lot of things. The ministry of this church that I'm a part of, and with Sanctuary, a lot of things that I used to be able to do, leave at a moment's notice, drop what I'm doing, go hang out for hours on end, I couldn't do that anymore. And as an extrovert, that was killing me. To stay at home and hang out and be around, and even to this day, it's still affecting what I do. And you know what? In the long term, after working through all of that, it's okay. But what happened is that you begin wondering what's going on. You think you're starting to crack up. I mean, people are looking at you like, why are you so cranky? Why are you so ornery? And as a guy, you're inside, you're like, what is going on? Well, quite honestly, you're mourning the loss of your freedom. What you used to be able to do as a single person all of the time, whenever you wanted, that went away when you got married. Now, I don't mean that in a bad way. You can still do a ton of stuff that you used to do, but now you have a wife or a husband to consider in all of your decisions. So that started to go away a little bit. When the kids came along, even more so. Now you cannot go to a McDonald's and have an ice cream cone without the kid in the back wanting the same. Now you can't wake up in the morning and just be yourself and do whatever you want without some kids saying they want food, they need you, they want this, they want to play. And again, not bad stuff, but on and on, there's always somebody or another little kid wanting your attention, wanting you to provide, wanting you to play, wanting you to do all of these things. And in the early stages, it's an awesome thing. And on, it's an awesome thing. But there comes a point where you give, and there's constant noise, constant arguing, constant fighting, all of this stuff going on, that you're at a point where it's like, I need to get out of here for a day, a half a day. I just need to go to the movies by myself. But you can't, because your spouse is at work, or you have to be here for a school event, or you have to. And so you see where it starts compounding itself to a point where, yeah, you're mentally breaking up. You are cracking up because what you used to be able to do, you can't do anymore. Unless there are arrangements for babysitters, maybe parents or in-laws, maybe like my wife this weekend, my wife is recognizing I need a break. And because my office is at home, I'm around the kids all the time. She leaves for work, and yes, she deals with the stresses of work, but she said, I'm going up to my parents' house with the kids at their camper. You get a weekend to yourself. I have told my wife over and over again how much that recharges my batteries. I know it sounds goofy to some that are watching this, and maybe you're a lady and don't understand, maybe you're a guy, you don't understand that, but maybe it's because you've never experienced that yet as being a parent or whatever you are in life. But to get those moments where you're just like, yes, I get to wake up and do whatever I want. In my case, I'm taking the camper and going camping for the weekend. I'll drive back in for church. But find ways to recharge your batteries. Find ways that you can talk to your spouse and be honest, be real. I had that meeting with my wife where I said, I am cracking up. And people are starting to notice it. But people aren't asking me if I'm cracking up, and that's not a true friend. A true friend would say, how are you doing? And typically we'll respond, oh, I'm good. A true friend will say, how are you doing? And that is very important so that you can be honest with them. I've had friends that have come along and said, I will take your kids. You need to get out and do something for yourself for a little bit. Whether that's camping, biking, fishing, retail therapy, listening to music, locked in a room by yourself, whatever it is, you have to take care of you so that you can take care of everybody else in your family. I'll leave you with this thought. And I honestly never thought I would quote this person. But do you remember John and Kate Plus 8? Kate Gosling? Oh, it was like nails down a chalkboard watching that show with her on there. But she made a really good point. She said, my life does not revolve around my kids. My kids' lives revolve around my life. Because if I'm out of whack, my kids are out of whack. That makes a whole lot of sense. You need to take care of you so that you can provide for your family and that you can be there physically and mentally for your kids as well. Thanks for joining me. Let's hit on another topic in this series next week, and feel free to shoot me your questions as well. I will answer them in the next podcast. Have a great day.